Welcome to our continuing series of interviews at the Benzinga Cannabis Conference at the Fontainebleau Hotel down here in Miami. Paul, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you here.
Good to meet you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm actually a Canadian that moved to Colorado 25 years ago and fell into the cannabis space, at legalization. And so our firm is called Unified Global. And what we're doing is we're consolidating profitable operators in mature markets into our scalable public company, simply put.
Good.
So in 2 countries, 3 markets, 5 markets now.
So tell us about the merger. What have you done?
Yeah.
I mean, you and tell us what happened just this week, which is great news.
So we initially had an OTC pink shell that we were going to start rolling our assets in, and then we had this opportunity to merge with Fiore Cannabis. So Fiore has they had 2 main assets left, which was a regenerative grow in Nevada, using living soil techniques, and a dispensary in California. So this basically saves us a bunch of time and money, and really gives us the accelerator to start rolling in our assets. So it's already uplisted on the CSE.
Oh, great.
Symbol FIOR, or on the OTCQ, we have FIORF.
Oh, okay. So what is that symbol again?
FIOR.
Okay, great.
On the CSE or
So that had to be exciting to get this done.
Yeah, well, it was. Getting the uplist done was very exciting.
Yeah.
And so it's been a big week. Now we start rolling in all the assets. So
And you had those assets, I assume, lined up or ready to go?
Yeah, we announced almost $50 million of revenue. Previously, we also had announced that we had about $200 million in our pipeline. And so this was supposed to be a 3-year plan.
And how quickly did you get it done?
We're getting it done in the first year.
Yeah,
so we're going
moving quickly.
We're going from 0 to 50 million in the next 100 days, give or take, based on what regulators can get done for us. And we fully expect to be north of 100 million by Christmas.
So tell us about your team and the years of experience in this business that makes you being able to make this happen within a year.
Yeah, so I'm really humbled and grateful by this team that we've put together. We say it's over 100 years, I think we're up to 150 years of cannabis experience. But this is the team we're doing a dual border play. So with the dual border play, we've got some very unique experiences. So our head of cultivation, for example, she's done 15, 20 facilities where she's either built, turned around, helped get all their systems in place. So she's got a degree in accounting and a master's in horticulture.
Ooh.
You don't get that from a master grower.
You don't find that too many places.
So,
no,
so
absolutely
she
not.
She can go into the grow. She can, as I say, hug the plant and get the feel for the plant and hang with the team, and come back to the boardroom, open our laptop, and talk about how we can create great cannabis consistently, cost effectively. That's kind of where we start. We got to have good product, which has been a problem up in Canada.
Right.
Our operations and finance folks all come out of Canada, and so our head of operations, for example, he opened 90 stores in 30 months.
Right.
Right, and so
unbelievable
well, it's
process.
crazy, yeah. But he did it. So we talk about we have folks that know how to scale. So when we talk about going from 0 to 100 million potential this year, this isn't scary. These are people actually they kind of call this 2.0 in their careers because they've already done it in cannabis. They're just doing it again.
Yeah. So there are a couple things. Tell us, and again, some terms I may not be familiar with, is the ESG Initiatives.
Yeah. So ESG stands for Environmental Social Governance, and it's becoming a big thing in the public markets. The SEC is actually talking about forcing public companies to talk about their ESG initiatives. But that came to us and it only made sense. We were already, so again, the environmental side, we're moving to a complete living soil model.
Right.
Okay, so it's the right thing to do. We thought it might cost a little more, but then we find out, guess what? We'll actually save money and create better cannabis if it's organic. Through
crazy.
Farming. The S stands for social. So how you handle your people internally and externally. Well, we were already building a participation age company, right? So everybody like down to the bud tender gets stock in our game.
Very nice.
Right?
Very
So
nice, yeah.
we're helping build wealth. And the last piece, of course, is the G is the governance, massive transparency. We have folks like the former Attorney General that sits on our advisory boards. And so we have just absolute highest ethical governance.
In fact, I understand that because just recently, obviously through our news source and our media, I've seen a lot of press releases relating to the same thing with companies adopting the process,
Yes.
which kind of a year ago nobody ever heard of, and then all of a sudden within the last 3 or 4 months it's become very popular with any of the larger companies.
Absolutely, and we're just starting there. Again, we're aggregating smaller
Right,
operators.
absolutely, yeah.
But we're just raising the bar because you know
Right.
what? When you go federally legal, there's going to be a lot more big bars that we're going to have.
And a lot of more people looking at you too.
Exactly.
Right.
So we're just setting the standard right off the bat. And quite frankly, the Canadians already had that bar.
Right.
So our Canadian folks totally understand this level because all their facilities are GMP certified
Right.
for export, right? So they already understood what the bar is. So look, we're just bracing ourselves there.
Which brings us to the next one. So tell us, what is a Canna American MSO? That's a nice term. I like that term.
A Can MMSO. So we are consolidating in 5 mature markets. Like I say, at this point, it's Colorado, Oregon, Nevada, California, and Alberta, Canada. Alberta, Canada is the most mature market from a regulatory standpoint.
Really?
Yeah, they were the first ones. They're up to 700 dispensaries in that province. Really competitive. It's probably one of the more competitive markets. We have one store per 10,000 in Colorado. They're like one per 7,000.
Now, are they a vertical or dispensaries? How does that work?
There's no vertical integration right now.
Really?
So we're walking. So we're walking in, and you have to sell your weed to the government first, and then buy it from the government warehouse.
Huh.
Okay. So it creates a few challenges. We look at that as a logistics opportunity.
Sure.
Because they all get one delivery a week, right? So, anyways, we have a plan, and again, it's all about being vertically integrated. The growers and the retailers are talking, and so we're being in a position to do that. So that's one thing we're
So
bringing.
you're creating kind of a vertical model where maybe one didn't exist before.
Up there, but
Right.
but to answer your question, so we're doing that in all of our markets. We know that you have to be vertically integrated
Right.
to get those 30% plus EBITDA margins.
Correct,
You
correct.
have to be. So that's fine. Our team knows how to do that. That's actually in Colorado, you had to be vertically integrated when you first was legalized.
Right,
To do that,
exactly.
because there was no seed to sale trafficking software, so you had to grow 80% of what you sold.
Right.
So that's just kind of in the Coloradan DNA those in the industry. So we're implementing all that. So yeah, it's a Can MMSO. So we're de-risking our investors' risk because we're in 2 countries and now 5 markets, right?
So you do operate in Canada too?
We're our first acquisitions are in Canada, on these 3 markets. We'll be closing those, we expect, here this quarter, hopefully, depending on the regulators. And that will make us the first vertically integrated MSO, and again, in 2 countries with retail.
That'd be great.
Nobody else has done it.
Wow. So, it obviously seems like an investment opportunity for individuals to be able to get in. It's always good to be able to get in on the ground floor. So,
well, we're telling our story this week, and the stock was, I didn't see where it's at today, but it's been hovering around a nickel.
Right.
So, and this thing has only had a couple $1 million of revenue. So, yeah, is it a time? Sure, of course, I'm going to say it's time.
Right.
We're rolling in assets, we're rolling in revenue, and only profitable revenue. So we'll be, we think, probably one of the next MSOs that are profitable out of the gate, which should command higher multiples.
Right. Yeah, we, if you heard it first and you want to take a look at it, you got to take a look at the of what's going on in the market. FIOR
on the Canadian Securities Exchange, or FIORF on the OTCQB.
Okay, that's great. And a lot of companies are like that right now. A lot of companies come out of Canada. You can invest on the Canadian exchange without to go to over the counter in the United States.
Americans can invest directly in it.
And I guess one of the other questions: will you be changing the names of all these acquisition companies
that's a good question.
to kind of have coming from the healthcare industry? They battle when companies come in and buy it, and they change the name of the hospital, and they change the name of this, and kind of align the stars, as one might say, to make a brand, because obviously everything is about branding.
Absolutely. And the answer is no. We're not changing the names of the stores. All these operators are coming into what we refer as our collective.
Right.
Okay. So we're a collection of smalls acting big. So everybody gets the value of this collective knowledge. When you have an operator talking, a cultivator in Oregon, able to talk to somebody in Canada and exchange ideas, and vice versa, right? So we're not looking to rebrand. They're coming in, they're staying in. It's not a true full-out acquisition. We want them to stay in. We're going to help elevate them, give them the infrastructure to grow if that's what they want to do, right? Take some chips off the table.
Sure.
Right? we're not going to help support their team, and the people that have worked with them for so many years, they're all getting stock.
Right.
Everybody gets stock, right? And so that's the difference. Is it's a collective of smalls acting big.
Okay, so in looking at that, there are other companies, larger companies, that have done the same thing outside of cannabis.
Right.
Okay, is that the idea? In other words, you bring in brands, okay, because if you got a good local brand, you don't want to change that brand name and kill hundreds of millions of dollars of marketing that you never paid for but got.
Right,
Okay?
exactly.
So you don't want to kill that. So and other companies have done that. I mean, I think when you go into the food business, it's kind of like, who makes Heinz ketchup? Who makes, Kraft cheese?
Right.
And again, you don't know, you may not associate with that brand name, but they're all working together as a group, and that's kind of sounds like
exactly.
what they're doing.
So there's going to be purchasing power for a number of the pieces within the organization, but being able to exchange like cultivation techniques, and that's the real power, right? But yeah, we
improving the business.
Improving the business, and our operators, what we've learned is we call them know your neighbor stores. They know their neighbors, they know their customers. Why would we want to change it? We're just going to give them a few extra sources to help them with capital or help their brand, but our goal is not to start rebranding everybody. Absolutely not.
So as we kind of wrap up here, what does Canadians' medical market experience suggest to what will happen in the United States?
Yeah, so Canada's had a medical market for 10 years. Right? So it's very interesting because I talk about what happens to the federal. Canada's just a microcosm of what's going to happen here.
Sure.
Simply put. Okay, so how this looks 3 years after legalization is, or 4 now, I guess, is that's how the U.S. will look. So here's the answer. We expect right now today in Canada, 10 insurance companies pay for cannabis.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting.
That's the first thing. So our markets, and they expect, the analysts think that it'll be a 50% medical, 50% recreational market. Well, it'll all shake out that way.
It'll shake out that way, right?
Right, because if you got the insurance companies paying for it, you have to get it from a medical environment. So that's the first point. The second thing I tell people about was what happens is the stigma goes away. When you nationally legalize, the stigma, I was surprised at how fast it went away. Well, first of all, the closer you got to legalization date, more everybody wanted to invest. Right? Afterwards, where it's no longer taboo. So now you have 6, 7, 8-figure CEOs admitting, oh no, I'm still smoking cannabis. I always have, I never stopped.
I just didn't tell you before.
I just didn't tell you before because they were worried about losing their license or
right.
the prestige in the industry. Now today, everybody in Canada is in. So that's going to happen here. It will happen, in a matter of time. And so that's what I think looks for. People are still today having to look over their shoulder, right? It's like, oh my God, is my bank account going to get closed because I admit I'm in the cannabis industry, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to have that problem.
It's amazing how many people you talk to within healthcare in the United States that are either their users or family members are users.
Yes.
But when you talk about relating to their business in healthcare, they can't even discuss it.
Right. No.
They'll tell me outside because it affects how they can collect money from Medicare, Medicaid, the DEA license, that type of stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, once it becomes legalized, the whole landscape changes.
Oh yeah, totally. And that's why I say Canada. We want to see what this will feel like in 4 years. Just look, it happened quickly.
Right.
And so it's just normal.
So you see the evolution in the United States quicker than the evolution that happened in Canada? Lessons learned, or about the same 10-year process?
No, I think it can happen faster. It's just like all these new markets that open up.
Yeah.
It took us 5 years to get the regulatory environment kind of stable.
Right.
Because we're only going into mature markets from a regulatory standpoint. I'm seeing now where it's happening faster. I think within 2 years, because there's enough other people now involved in the industry. You have enough talent pool. The lawyers doing their lobbying, because and it's pulling together. And it's so, yeah. But from a federal legalization standpoint and what it looks like, it's like Canada.
So finally, let's kind of come back and say, tell me about your mission to help. I mean, I think when I look at this business or any business, money making is one thing. Being able to do this, But whenever I've talked to an executive, whether it be in this business, whether it be in healthcare, any business, there's a mission behind them, and there's a reason for them to get into the business, not just to make the money, but a social reason. And there's usually a deep story behind it. So tell us you.
Well, I'm not sure there's a deep story, but look, I've been a consolidator of small businesses my entire career. So I've done this 40 times. And so at the end of the day, I know that what matters is the culture, and that's what we've created, is a really strong culture. It's called the Unified Vibe. And so it's a purposeful built business is what we're doing. We're here to help our people, our communities, and the planet, one cannabis plant at a time. It starts with our people. So that's right. Our people, for example, have stock, right? We're there to help our people and our customers, right? And then give back in the communities. I was kind of shocked by the small amount that the cannabis industry has been involved in the communities and giving back. You know, some of it's there.
Some of it's there. It's getting better. It's getting a lot better, right?
That's our mission. So our people are going to get paid time to go help in the communities, and we're going to be giving every single month in our communities that we operate in. Yeah. That's just the mission. And then, of course, and we all make this one's all surrounded by we're here to help.
Right.
And help stands for humbleness. We're all very humble people in the business. The E stands for the ESG, which we talked on. The L stands for lead locally. So we're not going to be sitting there at home base in Denver or Calgary going, you must do this, this, or that. Those leaders have already figured it out. They're making money. So we're there to coach and help, but lead with local decisions. The P, of course, is we're very passionate. We're passionate people about the plant.
Right, and you have to be in this business.
Totally.
If you're in this business just for the money part of it and don't have it, it's very hard to succeed in any business,
right?
Especially this business.
Right.
Well, Paul, I want to appreciate you coming by today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
It was great, great educational information, and we will actually probably talk with Paul a little bit later on, kind of follow up with him. Every couple of months, maybe do a Zoom video.
Love to.
Or maybe go up and see you. So that'd be great.
Excellent.
Thanks again.
Thank you.